Microphone check. This is the
Social Prophet.
And I'm back at it with another and maybe final rant. You know, since Luke always talks about a theme. We need a theme. We need a theme. We're gonna put it.
I would everyone's fucking talking about a theme. I don't know what we're gonna put. Because it's been bugging me, motherfucker, that we need like a theme.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't bug me.
But we need. Yeah, I know it doesn't bug you. I don't know why.
Yeah, just not at all. So I'll give this a goddamn theme. And the theme is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay? But to just get it started, I'm just gonna get, I don't know, I feel like we misled people on episode 29. And at the time, it made sense. And at the time, you know, it's what it was. But I actually got to thinking about everything. And I kind of wanted to renege a little bit, a.k.a. flip-flop on what I said, because I rethought some things. And that's okay, because that's what we do at the church. You know, we're not stubborn, and we like to, you know, explore our ideas. So this is my take on episode 29 and the future of what the fuck, but why. But to put it simply, I like the show, and it's what I want to do. For me, it was coming together perfectly with the Social Prophet, Hater Phil, Lackawanna, my dad. My idea was to make a world, like a whole universe of comedy, serious, drama, personal stuff, even interviews, just everything, like a world. I want to create a world. I'm real into that. And like I said, because of the Howard Stern show or whatever, but I'm just into making more than just two guys talking. I want to make a whole world. And I just felt like it even exceeded what I thought we were going to do. That's what's funny about it. It's even better than what I thought. And I get it. It's a little silly, and it can get stale, or we can be boring, or we can be funny, or like. But that's what I wanted it to be. We had to do some more clips. I felt we could do like some more clips because not a lot of people have time to listen to an hour podcast. But you know, we could figure all that stuff out. But for only being episode 30, I thought it was just coming together amazing. Majority of like non-celebrities who do podcasts are just two boring guys that just talk, and they just have like a name, like the Joe and Joe Show. And they just kind of do their thing. And even our intro, everything, man, it was just coming along real sweet. And in my head, I was always thinking like episode 50 to 100. That's when things were going to come together. Episode 30, it's nothing. I mean, I'm still proud we made it. Or actually, episode 29. We didn't have time to promote. We kept it a secret. We have it on a private channel or on a private page. You know, and if I look at the people who watch it and listen, the fans, and their engagement to us and our characters, you know, if we just had a chance to promote, I think we could have done something special. I mean, I'm just a little old IPS driver, and he's just a very special window washer. And for the time we did it, like, look what we created. I mean, it's actually hard to imagine us never doing it. It's almost like looking at your kid and trying to picture life without him or her. Like everything about it was just so unique to me. Even the background and the flag and the Church of Y and the book and just everything. I'm really proud of it. I just think it's cool what we did. You know, I always wanted to entertain you guys. That was my goal. All week I would think of funny things I could do or cool topics. Like, I treated it like a show. I wanted to make it a good episode. But for Luke, this was more of a passion project. This was more about him. He was soul searching for himself. He wants to explore his ideas.
So I think that you might be a little bit.
And like I said in the podcast, everybody knows me as like a devil's advocate. That'd be the whole point of me doing a podcast, or because I've gotten things like that before. Like when I talk to people, I kind of interview them, and I have a style of like interviewee. They'd be like, "Damn, you know, you'd be a good interviewer. Like, you need to do something." And like, I just feel like that went bad when I would challenge his ideas. Like, case in point, the wives episode.
Then
that's why
it would be a better place. All right. Then. There would be a better, like, one of the lessons I talk about.
I don't think anybody's disputing you, Luke. I just think that, like, what do you want Caitlin to say? Like, what do you want her to say? She's like, yeah, you're right.
About
so, like,
what?
Like, we should tell the truth.
Why you got to bring Caitlin up?
Because you were just talking about her. You said Caitlin gets mad at me. And I'm saying, well, like, what do you want in return after she says, right, we should live in the truth?
Right.
And then what? It's
But
just
I'm not talking about just me and her because we are there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fucking... What are you fucking getting at?
That you were like, say something. And I'm like, I said, like, I agree.
No, I'm talking about it as a society, dude.
I know, but
I'm fucking way beyond that.
I can't change it. It's like, I don't know what to say. You're like, say something. I just didn't know what to say at that moment because, like, you're right. Like, it's like when you hit people with that truth thing, it's like, you're right. Like, we should tell the truth. But, like, what do you want me to say? Like, you're right. Like, what am I going to do? Except, like, you're responsible for you, and all you can do is live in your truth.
But no,
I can't change anybody else.
Right.
We all know that. We
right,
can't change
but I'm saying
anybody.
that the truth should be fucking taught. Like,
And
we
you're
don't give a
teaching.
fuck about the truth anymore, dude. Like, racism is not the truth. Racism shouldn't exist.
Lies are...
The truth is there's only one human race. How many fucking times do I have to say that?
I learned he wants to spread his message that he already formed. That he doesn't really want to be questioned on it. And I'm not saying he just wants everybody to agree with him, but just like when you watch the episodes when I'm disagreeing with him or people are, he gets real defensive and mad. And it's like he soul searched and he got clean and sober. I know he hates those words, but so it's like he wants to spread whatever he learned to people. I just kind of wanted it to be that and comedy and drama and interviews and skits and animated shorts. So I want it to be like a whole world. And so I'm super proud of it. And Luke is embarrassed and ashamed of it. Like, we couldn't really be on more opposite pages, but I kind of knew he was. But I don't know, maybe more like patient with it, or I just kind of just wanted to keep it going and just kind of we'll figure it out. And, you know, I just feel like from the jump, he took his wife's criticism way too hard, and I just felt like she's too close to it. That's why when Kirby would say stuff, I didn't really take it to heart because I knew what I was trying to do. Like, nobody could talk me out of it. I had a vision, and 50% of that vision came from Luke. So when I say I really mean our vision, because at a point, it was our vision. Like, we would be on the same page. And that vision that vision just isn't something Kirby or Caitlin or their pap or my mom or my sister would ever watch. So I was okay with that. Like, I actually would be concerned if they liked it. I'd be like, why do you like this? This isn't for you. And I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to it, but it's like, I have like a more fucked up humor, and we're disgusting. We're like men. We're weird. It's like, so why would I want some educated women liking my shit? Like, it's just, it wouldn't even really make sense. Like, I don't really want to, that's what I hate about TV now. With like Roseanne, it's like there's like a black girl and a trans person. It's like we're just trying to appease to everybody, and it just makes a mediocre product. Just like music, they're appeasing to the radio, so it's a mediocre product. With art, you just have to go into it and say fuck everybody, and it's okay. You can still, like me and my kid talked about it, you can still have an idea of what the fans want and kind of do that, but at the same time you have to do your vision. You know, like, so I feel like both can exist. Like I said, I like to entertain people and at the same time fuck everybody. So it's like, I want to entertain you with my crazy shit and people can't really talk me out of it. That's kind of what I'm saying. In criticism, well, I remember talking with Luke about it because, you know, people would criticize me about my music videos or my graphics or photography. So I kind of got used to getting criticized on my art, and I'm okay with it.
Do you think that it sucks because of me? And maybe I'm feeding into Hater Phil.
Let's go back.
But Hater Phil's going to like
Let's
this.
go. And like I told him, there's some stuff you listen to, like, Luke, you say fuck way too much.
And it's something that the fucking humans created.
Yeah.
Because I was fucking annoying Caitlin with it. Being negative fucking self-identity.
Jason, you say like way too much. It's not even that. It's like you're interesting, okay? And it's like you have a lot to teach people, and like you're such a nice, funny guy. That's something you can work on. But when we would get feedback like, I just don't get the show, I just don't understand it, like those comments would get the best of him, I felt like. And that's the shit I like that would make me laugh. Like, it's like when I was watching Trailer Park Boys the other night, and like, it's just genius. Like, I bet you so many people before it went on, you know, cable or up in Canada, like, what the fuck is this? Who would ever watch that? Like, what is this? And like, that's what's genius about it. my favorite movie is Gummo, or one of my favorite movies is Gummo, and just because it's so fucking crazy and you can't define it, it just is what it is. So I wasn't really worried about forcing a theme, and he was. It got to a point where he kept bringing up a theme, and like he always picked on me because I like saying like I like letting things happen naturally. Which leads me to naturally, the show was going in a different direction. Luke didn't want any parts of. Yeah, we're going.
I think that I want it to be something, and you want it to be something else.
Yes.
And for some reason, I don't feel comfortable doing what you're trying to do.
Right. And with Luke's idea of what he wanted to do is perfect for him. And before all this, I knew it's what he wanted to do and what he should be doing. I could see when we would film, he would just be super disengaged and not into it. It's like he couldn't even fake it anymore. He'd come up and like, it was just, so it was hard for me to get into it while we were filming. I'd be super excited, then like middle of the podcast, I'm kind of like, damn man, like I feel like good to go.
Yeah.
But I feel good to go right now.
I feel good to go.
I do. I feel good.
So you're telling me I'm not feeling good to go?
Come on, Luke, help me out. Like you're just going out of your way to be bored with this. And I feel like the guest thing he was kind of putting on me, but it all started kind of when we did Brad, Casey, and my dad all in a row. And every single one, he texted me and was like, I wasn't feeling it. The Brad one, I just wasn't feeling it. Or Casey, I just wasn't feeling it. And I could tell during it, he was disengaged. And if you go back and watch all of them, it was Luke doing like all the talking. The Mike Hit one, he was doing all the talking. The Brad one, it was him and Brad going back and forth about reality. My dad, it was them going back and forth. So I would try to stay out of it to let, them talk.
Choose. Do you have to use conscious thought to choose to go meditate right now? Do you have to? Right. You're thinking about it. You're putting yourself in that position.
But while you're doing
that's like saying that I pray, therefore I believe in God. You're putting yourself in the position.
It's not making sense. See, and then we get this a lot when we were talking about time. And you're like, no, time has. I'm like, no, time only exists in your mind, and you think it exists without our minds,
right?
But it doesn't.
Just because you don't
time
understand
exists
it or
because
don't want to
we came up
acknowledge
with it. We came up with the whole idea of time.
And then when he kept just being weird about it, it was like, all right, well, let's not do it. And like, it was a lot of work for me too, so I didn't fight it. I was like, okay, let's just do our own thing. I kind of wanted to wait till I got my equipment better to do guests anyways. I was like, it was just too much work, so I was okay with that. But even if we did do guests, we just have two different styles. I like to make people uncomfortable to get the truth, and I personally feel like his style is more of like a friendly kind of, like this, like a friendly, cool conversation, and that's just boring to me. I just, when I listen to podcasts or whatever, I don't know. I hear so many conversations that just are so democratic and liberal, and just the answers you want to hear, and they're kind of safe. And, I want to get the real person, and I feel like my style, the way I talk to people, even like Stacy will pick on me or whoever, like I like to pick at stuff, and they'll say something, I'll be like, well, why? Like I don't think that's true. Most people will be like, yeah, and I'll be like, no, like why do you say that? Like I think you just made that up. And then we can go back and forth about that. That's my style. That's what I like to do, and that's what entertains me. And Luke takes that more as, kind of like aggressive, and me just going out of my way to be drama, like the drama prophet, which is fine. That's what happened in the Fuck Yeah Dinosaurs episode when they were talking about a company wanted to use their song and asked them to change the lyrics. And I was just kind of like, well, they're like a punk band. I was like, you think Kurt Cobain would do that? And it was like an honest question. Like, do you think Kurt Cobain would change the lyrics to Smells Like Teen Spirit for Apple? And then it just got like uncomfortable, and like I could tell Luke was weird about it. So then we continued our conversation about, I think like after that we were talking about him walking to the Gap for clothes and how long of a walk it is to the Gap.
Behind a Gabe's, and there's this giant wall. There's a Gabe's.
Did you live right by Gabe's?
I went there today. Got stoned and bought some pants.
Dude, they got great shit at Gabe's.
They really do.
So you're like secluded behind Gabe's.
Yeah.
It's like how do you get to Gabe's? I walk.
There's a
It's
trail.
Which way? Up the deer path.
There's
up, up beside the wall, and then I'm in the parking lot.
Sweet.
He climbs the wall.
I would love to climb that wall.
It's like a
30-foot
It's a really high wall. It's kind of cool.
It's like Game of Thrones. You
Yeah.
know?
That's
straight up.
Yeah.
And what clothes he buys, and where do they live, and how far does he live from the Gap, and like that was like the exact opposite of what I don't want to do. Like I hate that. That's just like what I want to stay away from. Is like those type of fake. It's just like a waste of time to me. You know, to me. And I feel like the people he likes, like Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson, I think that Luke doesn't. I don't know. It's like he doesn't realize like they instigate and don't let up. Like they have a personality when the camera turns on. Like that's why they're good, because they kind of, I don't know, just like Larry King or like just all the best ones. Like they kind of go for the truth and kind of, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know, it just didn't go with Luke's style of interviewing. It was just kind of, it just didn't work. But I would have been okay with, I'll talk about later what I would have been okay with. But I guess the reason I flip-flopped on being excited about producing it was because I feel like we would basically just be making like another Joe Rogan podcast, and it's so well done that I don't really have any ideas on how to make that better. And even if I did, Luke doesn't like authority, and he says he wants me to be a producer, but to him, that's just somebody telling him what to do. So I would basically just be there just to kind of just make sure everything's working, and I'd be scared to really say anything because he gets defensive and he would just think I'm being the bossy prophet. You know, so, which I am, and that's what makes, I don't know, it's just, that's what makes the producer in me. I like things a certain way. I want the audio clear, I want different angles, I want a real podcast. And to anyone who was thinking about doing one or did one on a smaller scale, they were always like super impressed by our setup. Even if they didn't really like listen, they'd be like, damn man, that's like, I don't know how you got all that shit together at the same time. And which is something like personally I felt Luke maybe took for granted, but then at the same time he doesn't care about any of that shit. So it's like what I cared about was like the little details, like he could give a fuck less about. And like we literally could have filmed it with a potato and he wouldn't have cared. And that's why I think it's something he needs to explore on his own, because like he doesn't want to be caught up with like good audio or video or just the little details, so he can set up his phone or do whatever and just talk to his friends. And I just feel like it would work better. It would just work better for him. He could do whatever the fuck he wanted, so then he can't say anybody was holding him back, you know, because at the end of the day, like I wanted to combine everything I watched from the time I was 5 to now. I wanted it to be a mix of Beavis and Butthead, Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony, Joe Rogan, MTV True Life, Larry King, just everything. I wanted just a full, you know, just I don't know, just a mix of everything. But I don't know, just understanding that you have to get people to get familiar with you, understand you. It gets to a point where they almost feel like they're friends with you. And I understood how important that was, listening to shit like this growing up. I remember when Artie would relapse, I would be sad all day. I remember being glued to the radio when Anthony from Opie and Anthony talked about what happened at his divorce hearing the day before. You know, I remember when Patrice O'Neal died, it was devastating. It was like a friend died. You know, and that allowed me to be more invested into their opinions and ideas when they talked about real stuff. Then you can start playing around with getting creative because you have love and support from your viewers. They understand you. You know, podcasting is a long, slow grind. Growing your podcast audience starts with like a solid foundation. And that's something I understood and was anticipating from the jump. So when Hater Phil or somebody would joke about the views, I just laughed. I knew we were just slowly building a super solid foundation. We were building a house, and we were just building the foundation, the framing of it. But before we start bringing people in, because I didn't want to really like embarrass ourselves, and it was like super hot up there, and like the audio wouldn't work, and like I just kind of wanted to focus on us first, and like we'll slowly, get to that. But and I guess maybe Luke got impatient. And it just felt like he was kind of sabotaging it. That's what kind of soured it. That's why I joked around and called him like the Axl Rose of podcasting. It's like he wants to do his own thing.
I want my own goddamn show.
And that's okay. And it just kind of, I don't know. I guess the way I saw it going was maybe like me and him would do 30 minutes, and then after Luke would do maybe his interview, or maybe I would do one that would be a different style. And, you know, I don't know. But then he comes out and says how ashamed he is of it and how embarrassed he is of it. And
like, okay. I told my buddy the other day, I was like, dude, I'm just not proud of it. Right. Like, I don't feel like telling people about it for some reason.
Right.
You know, like, okay, I have a podcast. It's called What the Fuck But Why.
Right.
But when I meet new people, I don't want to tell them about it.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because, I mean, basically it's because I'm not proud of it.
How, like, who gives a fuck about the mafia? It's like, so basically, who gives a fuck about anything I want to talk about?
Fucking get my fangs into why everyone's so fucked up.
Yeah, I think, like...
And you just want to talk about fucking the mafia and shit.
I think... So why would I want to keep doing it? It doesn't make... He'll be like, oh, we'll do your thing once a month. It's like, why? You don't want to talk about it, and you can't even fake it. Like, just look at the video. You're bored. You're disengaged. Like, gambling and stuff, but they can't, like, run unions and construction like how they used to. That's what he's saying. Garbage, they can't run garbage anymore because there's so much of a paper trail now.
But I think they still do. No.
Okay. It's just why I don't want to continue it, for people thinking I'm the one stopping it, but it's because it just ran its course. I feel like it just ran its course, and but I want to make it clear that I don't fault him on what he wants to do. Like I said from the beginning, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. He has gotten, he's gotten to a point where he doesn't want to just talk bullshit. He wants to go in depth with random people, and I totally understand that, and he should be doing that. And I feel like I don't know, we just could have kind of found that within our world. Like, we could have fit that into our world, but he kind of just like blew it up. And just kind of like, almost like, people make fun of me for being like a baby, or it's like, but it's almost like he did that. Like, he pulled on me. He just kind of like threw his hands up, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, I don't want to, I'm bored. Like, it's like, well then, then okay, that's fine. Then we're done. He's like, I want my own show. And it's like, all right, like, just do your own show. Like, it'd just be easier for me, for everybody. Just do your own fucking show. And not even a bad way. I'm okay. Trust me. I actually feel like a relief, because I knew you were starting to not like it, and it was just like more stress for me because it's just, I knew you just didn't like it anymore. And I keep getting messages like, dude, it's so awesome, it's hilarious, like, don't stop. But the problem is everybody sees it but Luke, and that's the one person that, has to like it, and he doesn't. And no matter what he says, the truth already came out, so you can't really go back. He's embarrassed by it, so, and that's okay, because that's all right. But to end it was fun, and I'm glad we did it. I always envisioned like what my podcast would look like, and now I know. I had a couple ideas of my own. I already made a couple things that you'll be seeing, but I'll probably retire the Social Prophet after the little videos I put out. Because I wanted to do a podcast with Luke, I didn't really want it to be like a solo thing or all about me. I feel like our characters play off each other, and it should have just been like worked within. He just went straight to like, fuck this, I want to do my own thing, and I just felt like it could have been more massaged in with what we do. And I'm not saying he didn't kind of say that, but it's almost like his actions contradicted like what his message like wanted to be. So it's like, you say that, but you also say you hate this and you don't want to. So it's like, I don't know, it just literally just made sense for him just to do his own thing. And if he still enjoyed doing What the Fuck But Why, then we could keep doing it, but he doesn't. So that's why we're not going to do it, because he doesn't enjoy it. No matter what he says, I'm not doing it because like I know he doesn't want to do it. So I'll just be sitting there like scared to talk about shit because I'm like, you don't want to talk about this, you don't want to talk about that. And I tried, and like I said in the podcast, like it just kept going down the same rabbit hole. But I don't know, maybe in 20 years we'll finish and do episode 30. But for now, what you got? It was fun. I appreciate the love, hate, support. And I don't know, I guess that's it. Signing off. This is the
Social Prophet.
What the fuck but why? Peace!
Obey the prophet when he speaks, and you'll be blessed. Disobey him, it is death.